Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Ārādhayo Bhagavāna Vrajeshatanayas Tadhāma Vrindavana Ramya Kāchitupāsana Vrajavadu Vargena va kalpita Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanam prema pumartho mahan Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu matamidam tatradhara naparaha Hare Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, dear worshipable devotees, for joining and taking out your valuable time to read here Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in this wonderful, auspicious month of Kartik. We are reading Canto 10, Chapter 10, entitled The Deliverance of Yamala Arjuna Trees. So we read till text 18 last time, which was on Friday. And then we had the wonderful weekend programs. So now we'll resume our Bhagavatam reading. In the last discussion, we were discussing about the importance of sadhus or sadhu sangha. And Narottam Das Thakur also mentions a lot of verses about sadhu sangha. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Paitre Keba Satsanga Chadi Keno Asata Vilasa Te Kare na Lagila Ye Karma Bandhana Fasa. Satsang ko chhodkar, those who give up good association. Kari Asate Vilasa. Asat, Sat, opposite Satsanga, Asatsanga. Asat means which is not real, which is not the real eternal thing, which is not going to help us. In short, materialistic association. Then we will be bound in the karma bandhana fasa. And not to forget, who was Narottam Das Thakur? He was like the son of a multi-millionaire. He was the son of the king, actually. He gave up all that to preach the movement of Lord Chaitanya. So we were talking about that, and generally everyone can take benefit of satsanga, but rich people are so puffed up in their own pride that they don't take it. And a poor man is able to take it easily, one who is a kinchana. So with that, let's move to the next verse, text number 19. Tad ahammattayor madhya varunya Śrīmad-Antya namo mandam harishyami Srenyor ajitatmano. Translation purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, since these two persons drunk with liquor named Varuni and Madhvi are unable to control their senses, have been blinded by the pride of celestial opulence, and have become attached to women, I shall relieve them of their false prestige. Purport. When a sadhu chastises or punishes someone, he does not do so for revenge. He does not do so for revenge. Maharaj Parikshit had inquired why Narad Muni was subject to such a spirit of revenge, tamaha. But this was not tamaha, for Narad Muni, in full knowledge of what was for the good of the two brothers, wisely thought of how to cure them. Vaishnavas are good physicians. They know how to protect a person from material disease. They are never in tamoguna. Sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Vaishnavas are always situated in the transcendental platform, the Brahman platform. They cannot be subject to the mistakes or the influences of the modes of material nature. Whatever they do after full consideration is meant just to lead everyone back to Godhead. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I think about 2 weeks back, or one devotee was asking why Narad Muni, expressed this, like taking revenge is in which mode? What do you think, Lakshay? Taking revenge, expressing curses on others, hey, you become this, hey, you become that, you go to hell. What kind of mode is this?
Tamaguna.
Tamoguna. Very good. For 99.9%, right? It is in the mode of Tamoguna. But Narad Muni here is not subjected to Tamoguna. Why? Because it was not that he was taking revenge. It was not that he had this, oh, hey, they didn't respect me, I'll curse them, tit for tat. What was Narad Muni's intention? Suhrida Sarvabhutanam. To cure them. Prabhupada mentions Vaishnavas are good physicians. Good physicians means to cure the disease, the material disease. And therefore, what is the best way to cure material disease? To spread the holy name, to spread Prabhupada's books, to spread Krishna Prasadam, to spread the lamp offering in the Kartik month. This is the real cure. And this is what our real mood and mission in ISKCON, Prabhupada's mission is to share this message with more and more people. Then only we are fulfilling this. Prabhupada is saying Vaishnavas are good physicians. So Narad Muni was also like a traveling physician. Is it not? Traveling different places. Why? To cure everyone of this Tamoguna. He is not in Tamoguna. If someone is in Tamoguna, how can he uplift others who are in Tamoguna? That logically also does not make sense, right? For example, how can a beggar give charity to the other beggar, right? If someone has some wealth, then only can give charity to the beggar. If someone is in a higher mode, then only they can uplift a person in the lower mode. In this case, Nalkur and Manigriva were in Tamoguna. They were under the influence or passion and ignorance. Narad Muni is in Shuddha Sattva. Sagunan samatitya Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Let's read that verse in a little bit more detail. 1426. Mam chayo vicharena. Yes, that's the first line. Lakshay knows that, right? 1426. It's in your syllabus. Mam chayo avicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Okay, you can see and recite the verse and translation.
Mam chayo abhyabhicharane bhakti yogena sevate saguna samitityaiten brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Translation: one who engages in full devotion, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
Brahman, in this case, Brahman means like a spiritual platform. So in short, a devotee who is engaging in bhakti, devotional services, above all these gunas. So that very well applies to Narad Muni here. So one should not think. In short, the main essence of this verse is that his curse was a special mercy, a special blessing actually. I shall relieve them, Narad Muni is saying, of their false prestige. Why? Selfless seva, right? Selfless seva. Because they were blinded by pride, by opulence, by opposite sex, by alcohol, varuni, liquor. Their senses were uncontrolled. This is the real disease. All these phrases mentioned, and Narad Muni is the expert physician who wants to cure them of the disease. Now the problem is, this is a selfless and thankless task often, because they didn't approach. The disease is so sometimes, and that's we see the majority of the people, they may be so diseased, but they may be totally unaware of it that they are diseased. At least, let's say I have a headache. I know, oh, my head is aching. Let's say I have a boil on my hand. I know my hand is paining because I have a boil. But these are subtle diseases. Is it not? Pride, lust, anger. If you ask common people, hey, do you have lust? Hey, do you have pride? Hardly anyone will say yes. No, I don't have all these things. What are you talking about? Right? These are so subtle that they don't even realize. Only, in ISKCON, we are taught since very beginning, and we are learned through scriptures and all that. But the common people will not even accept it. Therefore, these are hidden. Therefore, there is a lot of need for preaching. And therefore, our Satir Prabhu keeps, arranging wonderful kirtans, festivals, Sankirtan festivals, so that more and more people can get the mercy of Lord Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Let's read next verse. Any comments before we move to the next one? Okay, let's read 20 to 22. So they're all together. It's a combination of 3 verses. So maybe 2 devotees can read. One can read the verse and the translation. One can read the purport, maybe. Anyone wants to read?
Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees. Dandavat pranam. Jadi molokapalasya puto bhrutva tamotputo na vivasa sanmanan bijanitaha sudurmado otoharta stavaratam syatang naiva jatha punnaha smruti snanya prasadena tatrapi madanugrahat Vasudevasya sanidhyam labdhva vidya sarachyate mrute sullakatang bhuyo labdha bhakti bhavishyatah. Translation by Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. These 2 young men, Nalakubera and Manigriva, are by fortune the sons of the great demigod Kubera. But because of false prestige and madness after drinking liquor, they are so fallen that they are naked but cannot understand that they are. Therefore, because they are living like trees, for trees are naked but are not conscious. These 2 young men should receive the bodies of trees. This will be proper punishment. Nonetheless, after they become trees and until they are released, by my mercy, they will have remembrance of their past sinful activities. Moreover, by my special favor, after the expiry of 100 years by the measurement of the demigods, they will be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, face to face, and thus revive their real position as devotees.
Would you want to read, or you want to?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Purport. A tree has no consciousness. When cut, it feels no pain. But Nārada Muni wanted the consciousness of Nalakubera and Manigriva to continue, so that even after being released from the life of trees, they would not forget the circumstances under which they had been punished. Therefore, to bestow upon them special favor, Nārada Muni arranged things in such a way that after being released, they would be able to see Krishna in Vrindavan and thus revive their dormant bhakti. Each day of the demigods in the upper planetary system equals 6 months of our measurement Although the demigods in the upper planetary system are attached to material enjoyment, they are all devotees, and therefore they are called demigods. There are two kinds of persons, namely the devas and asuras. Asuras forget their relationship with Krishna, asuram bhavam asritaha, whereas the devas do not forget. Though bhutasavo lokesmin devo asura evacha Vishnu bhakta sruto devo asurastadi payaha Padma Puran. The distinction between a pure devotee and karma mishra devotee is this: a pure devotee does not desire anything for material enjoyment, whereas a mixed devotee becomes a devotee to become a first-class enjoyer of this material world. One who is in direct touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service remains pure, uncontaminated by material desires. Any abhilasita sunyam jnana karma de anabratam. By karma mishra bhakti, one is elevated to the celestial kingdom. By jnana mishra bhakti, one is able to merge in the Brahman effulgence, and by yoga mishra bhakti, one is able to realize the omnipotency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But pure bhakti does not depend on karma, jnana or yoga, for it simply consists of loving affairs. The liberation of the bhakta, therefore, which is called not just mukti but vimukti, surpasses the 5 other kinds of liberation: sayujya, sarupya, salokya, sarsti, and samipya. A pure devotee always engages in pure service. Anukulyana Krishnanusilanam Bhaktir Utamaha. Taking bath in the upper planetary system as a demigod is a chance to become a further purified devotee and go back home, back to Godhead. Nārada Muni indirectly gave Manigriva and Nalakubera the greatest opportunity by his so-called course. Yeah. Here the two demigods like Nalakubera and Manigriva, they have the false prestige, false ego, and they are with this they are like blindly enjoy all those things. And at that time, Nārada Muni came as a, we can say that that Prabhuji, you told like the physician, mental physician. So he came and delivered from this, delivered them from the false pride and false ego, so that they is like Nārada Muni cursed them, and it was not like the curse, it was like blessings, because they next in next bath they take as a, means they appear as a tree in front of the Krishna's house. So it was a blessings, and every day they can see Lord Krishna, and so that it was that's why it was not a curse, it was a blessings. And yeah, means they stay like as a tree, because they do not have the consciousness when they were enjoying, and they were like they are blind. They do not know, means they could not know anything what they are doing. That's why Narad Muni choose them to give bath like the trees. Generally, the trees, they do not have that much consciousness like the human beings. So they took bath as trees, 2 trees, and but ultimately they always they can see Lord Krishna, and they can, means sometimes Lord Krishna also tossed them, because when Lord Krishna was playing in under the trees, so it was, means they have very good fortune. So, and okay, Prabhuji, please, if I am wrong, please
Oh,
correct.
very nice. Thank you. Thank you for reading and sharing your thoughts on this verse. So 3 verses are put together in this section. I was hearing a class where, these Nalkur and Manigriva were naked. What does that mean? That means they were blind to one's own fault. It's like finding faults in others, but oneself is naked and saying, hey, other is not wearing proper clothes. That's the real meaning of here, nakedness, which we have to overcome. But the idea is that sometimes we may not be able to see it. Even Dhritarashtra was spiritually blind. He was blind from birth also, but he was spiritually blind. That's a bigger problem. And as a result, he could not see his own faults. And that's true for majority of us. Therefore, we need a teacher like Narad Muni to help us see our true self. And what was the prasada? What was the mercy given? Vasudevasya sannidhim labdhva divya sharachate. They will personally, Vasudeva Sannidhi, Sanidhya Prapt hoga. Sanidhya means proximity. The association of Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they will say face to face, Labdhva. They will attain that. For what? How many days? Anyone knows? How many days? How many years? How many months? Anyone?
100 years.
Okay, good try. Anyone else wants? Anyone else wants to answer? We just read. See?
So
It's in this verse. 100 years of the demigods. Very important point here. Which is basically 1 day of demigod is equivalent to 6 months. 1 day, their 1 day is 6 months here. So their 1 year is basically 6 times 365 months, right? Is it not? That's close to 180 years. Their 1 year is basically our 180 years, or right? Does the math work?
also that, 12 days of 12 hours of their day is 6 months, and 12 hours of their night is our 6 months. So 1 day is 1 year.
1 day is 1 year.
Like what-
Okay.
Reduction.
1 day, 1 year. So it's basically hundreds of years. So with that calculation, it comes out to be 365 years. So 365 times hundreds, let's say, so at least 100,000 years. 365 times 100, so at least tens and thousands of years. So tens and thousands of years they were in the where? Rajdham. Isn't that a good fortune? And especially they were there witnessing all the babyhood pastimes of Krishna. Krishna playing with his friends, Krishna taking the calves, Krishna stealing butter, Krishna, when the Mata Yashoda was running after Krishna, yes, these trees saw. Certainly they saw all that. So they were seeing all that pastimes face to face, right? And what after that? Then they will be delivered. So here Prabhupada talks about the mukti and explains about the vimukti, vishesha mukti, very special liberation. Not the liberation of merging in the impersonal Brahman, not any. Special mukti is basically back to Godhead and engaging in loving devotional service. So, in short, they were purified. They would be purified by this curse, which is a blessing. So, in short, this whole idea of these last few verses is that it was the greatest opportunity by his so-called curse. It was not really a curse. It was like a blessing in disguise, right? It is said that one moment of Krishna consciousness is far better than hundreds of lifetimes of not Krishna conscious, right? Hundreds of lifetimes we have already lived. We have already, maybe millions of lifetimes we have lived in different species. No good use. But one moment of bhakti, pure bhakti, seeing Krishna face to face, what will we pick? Nārada Muni and gave their special blessings to them. Any other thoughts, comments so far? Okay, let's read next verse. Who would like to read? Yes, Kashish Mataji, please.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam all devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 23. Shri Shuka Uvacha Eva Muktavasa Devarṣi Devarṣirgato Narayana Ashramam Nalakuver Mani Griva Vasatulyam Arjuna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shukadev Goswami continued, having thus spoken, the great saint Devarṣi Nārada returned to his ashram, known as Narayana Ashram, and Nal Kuver and Manigreen became twin Arjuna trees. Purport: Arjuna trees are still found in many forests, and their skin is used by cardiologists to prepare medicine for heart trouble. This means that even though they are trees, they are disturbed when skinned for medical science. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So here is the importance that even after they were given they were touched by Lord, and even still they exist on this earth in the form of Arjuna trees. Their presence is there, and they are used for medicinal purposes. Prabhuji, this is my understanding. Please add on. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Here the context is changing. Nārada Muni has spoken how many verses? A lot of verses he has spoken to Nalkuver Manigriva. Basically, text number 8 onwards, Nārada Muni starts to speak. So until he speaks till 22, that's a good number of verses. Almost 15 verses he spoke. And we discussed that he gave the philosophy, he gave the story, he gave the principle, he explained his intention. All these are very, very good lessons to, especially when we are saying something like giving a constructive feedback or saying something heavy, whether it's to a child or to a student or something, we should see, are we the right person? Will we have the right impact? Do we have the right intentions? Narada Muni had all those things. He was the right person, the right situation, right? It was a situation, means it was a private one-to-one. There was no one else over there. The girls already were kind of side. The Stress Yamuna Nilkur Maniguru were there, and he didn't shout. He didn't say, he just said that I'm doing this for your benefit, and explain the dangers, right? If a child is playing with fire, what will the parent do? The parent will take away that tool and say, child, this is not good for you. This can burn you. So you will not be allowed to play with fire. Sorry. The child will cry, hey, why are you giving me a curse? But it's actually a blessing. So now the topic changes. Shukdev Goswami says, okay, Narada Muni curses, or so-called curse, actually a blessing, become Yamala Arjuna trees. Yamala Arjuna trees. Yamala Arjuna trees means the twin. The twins. Isn't that sweet? Twins. Trees are also twins. Because they became twin Arjuna trees. They were alike. And Prabhupada mentions, we all know that trees have a lot of medicinal properties. So these are used for certain heart issues. Cardiologists use that. I don't know if they still use it. And maybe who knows how to use it. But certainly maybe very few people maybe knowing that art use these Arjuna trees. Let's move on, quite straightforward. So let's see what happens further when they became trees. And Narada Muni goes back to his ashram, 24. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, please.
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, Nityaṁ, all praise to Sri. Rase bhāgavata-sevayā satyam kritam vacho hari jagama sankaistatra yatrastam yamalajana. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Krishna, to fulfill the truthfulness of the words of the greatest devotee, Nārada, slowly went to the spot where the twin Arjuna trees were standing. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, as we can see now, Krishna, even though he can, not fulfill his promise, but he will never stop to fulfill his devotees' promise. And that too, here we can see that it is mentioned as the greatest devotee, Nārada. So even we can see that even Mahabharata, his dear devotee, Bhishma, took a promise. So to make his devotee's promise come true, he was ready to break his promise. So that such is the devotion of Lord Krishna. So now he is going to go to the Yamala Arjuna trees, twin Arjuna trees, to fulfill Narada Muni's promise. Please have
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Very nicely you mentioned. And at this point, the mother, we already discussed that the mother is inside now. She is busy doing, and she has safely tied Krishna, because Krishna was saying, hey, I'll leave you. So she said, okay, you better not leave, I better tie you. Like a seat belt, right? Sometimes a mother may put the child in a high chair or something where the child cannot escape. So it's actually all coming from this Krishna pastime. Mata Yashoda also thought, grinding motors are quite heavy, very heavy. And how can a little 3-year-old, they're not expected to be able to move this grinding motor. But Krishna slowly went to that spot slowly went. The word used is shanakai. Shanakai. So he slowly went to that spot. It reminds me of a very good lesson that those who are favored by the mercy of devotees, even if they can't come, Krishna will go to deliver them. Isn't that? Just because a devotee has said, as we read in the previous verse, what was text number 21? Mat prasadena, mat anugrihat. Both the words means the same, anugrihat and prasadena, special favor, by mercy, by the mercy of Nārada Muni. Because Nārada Muni had told, hey, you will get the mercy of Krishna. Hey, you will get the deliverance by the Supreme Lord. You will get the Sanidhya of the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is gradually going over there. And he is also called in Brajabhasha Ghasitaram. Ghasitna means to drag. Now, how is he slowly going? He's not unbound. So he is on his, four limbs, his knees and the hands. And the ukhala, which is tied to his belly with the medium of the rope, is also coming behind him, right? Because it's attached. And therefore one of the names of Krishna is Ghasitaram, jo ghasit the. And one who gives a lot of ananda or joy or pleasure in doing these pastimes, Ghasitaram. Text 25. Who would like to read?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mata, please.
All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Dhanyavad pranam, everyone. Text 25. Devarṣi me priyatamo yatniyamo dandat majau tattatha sadhaya swami yadgitam tan mahatmanam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Although these two young men are the sons of the very rich Kubera and I have nothing to do with them, Devarṣi Nārada is my very dear and affectionate devotee, and therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance. Purport: Nalakubera and Manigriva actually had nothing to do with devotional service or seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, for this is not an ordinary opportunity. It is not that because one is very rich or learned or was born in an aristocratic family, one will be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. This is impossible. But in this case, because Nārada Muni desired that Nalakubera and Manigriva see Vasudeva face to face, the Supreme Personality of Godhead wanted to fulfill the words of his very dear devotee, Nārada Muni. If one seeks the favor of a devotee instead of directly asking favors from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is very easily successful. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has therefore recommended Vaishnava Thakur Tomaro Kukur Bhuliya Janoho More, Krishna she Tomaro Krishna dite paro. One should desire to become like a dog in strictly following a devotee. Krishna is in the hand of a devotee. Adurlavam Atma Bhaktau. Thus, without the favor of a devotee, one cannot directly approach Krishna. What to speak of engaging in his service? Narottama Das Thakur therefore sings, Chhariya Vaishnava Seva, Nishtaro Payeche Keva. Unless one becomes a servant of a pure devotee, one cannot be delivered
from the material condition of life. In our Gauriya Vaishnava society, following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, our first business is to seek shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, Adau Gurava Ashrayaha. Very beautiful verse. Here Krishna himself is talking and he is saying that I don't care whether they are very rich because he is the Supreme Lord and he has all the opulence. So why do he care? He only cares because his devotee, his dear devotee Devarṣi Nārada wants that. So Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, Bhaktas Bhagavan. So if devotee wants, Krishna will sanction automatically. So because of Nārada Muni, he wants to, he agrees to be face to face with Nalakubera and Monigriva. And here also in the purport, Prabhupada is telling that if someone is rich, it doesn't matter that whether the rich people will see God. It's not at all possible. And also here the Vaishnava Goswamis, the Acharyas always mention that you cannot go directly to Krishna. You have to go via Guru, via his pure devotees. So Krishna will be very happy if you approach to his devotees rather going directly to him. So that's why Vaishnava Acharyas, they wrote so beautiful songs. Narottama Das Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, beautiful songs saying that Krishna, I'm your servant, I'm your dog, and please deliver me. So that's why Guru is very important. Prabhupada is saying in Gauriya Sampradaya, and Rupa Goswami's followers are called Rupanugas. And so bona fide Guru is very important for devotee to be delivered. Back to you, Prabhuji. Please add or correct.
Given that really, it's a very, very nice verse. And so nicely Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Krishna has nothing to do with Nalakuvara and Manigriva because they did not have devotion. But it was only for Nārada Muni. One of the Vaishnava bhajan is mentioned, Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite paro, tomara shakati ache. Where does Krishna reside? Krishna resides, tomara hriday sada Govinda vishrama. Govinda takes residence in the heart of devotees. And they have the right to give it to anyone and everyone. Nārada Muni chose, okay, these people are too puffed up. And just because they were favored by the mercy of Nārada Muni, they got the mercy of Krishna. It is mentioned in one of the verses, I don't remember the exact Sanskrit, but the essence is that if someone worships Krishna, whether they will go back home, back to Godhead, whether they will attain complete perfection or not, maybe, maybe not. But if someone worships a devotee, someone serves a devotee, they will certainly attain perfection. Of this, there is no doubt. Again, ties to the same principle, Mad Bhakta Pujyadika. Devotees are more merciful than Krishna himself. If it would have not been for Nārada Muni, Krishna would have not even bothered to look but over there to Yamunarjuna trees. But since they were, Prabhupada is mentioning here in the translation, Devarṣi Nārada is my dear, very dear, not just dear, my very dear and affectionate devotee. And he wanted, so you see again the quality of bhakta vashyata. Like a servant will do like this, right? Oh, my master has told me to do this, I will do it, right? So Krishna likes to become subordinate to his devotees. Oh, my dear devotee, if we read this, the translation, wanted me to come face to face with them. I must do so for their deliverance. So why? Because I am bhakt. So Arjuna told, hey, become the chariot here, or take my chariot in the middle of the army. Okay, here you go. Narada told, hey, give your Krishna will give you your mercy. He didn't even, and then Krishna is giving so. In Bhishma Pitama says, hey, that day I will make you lift weapon. Krishna said, okay. So many ways we see that Krishna is says to the devotees, he changes his will to protect the will or the words of his devotees. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranishyati. That's the reason in this verse Krishna told Arjuna, please declare it boldly, my devotee will never perish. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvadka. That my devotee will never perish. There is mention about the Bhakti no Thakur, that Vaishnava Thakur, Amito Amara Kukur Bhajan. So one should desire to become dog and basically serve devotees. Therefore, we are also hopeful one day by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, we can also get the mercy of Krishna by our own strength, by our own bhakti, by our own, Prabhupada mentioned, by one's own wealth, by one's family, and learning and beauty and riches and whatnot. If one thinks, oh, I can see Krishna, oh, I have a special ticket, oh, I have a VIP pass. Some temples have these kinds of things. We can't see Krishna by VIP pass. You think you can see Krishna by VIP pass, right? By paying some extra money, and then that's not really seeing Krishna. I'm not saying to do it or not, that's your call. But this is not a process. If we serve Vaishnavas, then Krishna will come to see you. That's what exactly happened. If we somehow get the mercy of Vaishnavas, we're not saying that we have to act like Nalkvar and Manigriva, indecent. That was causeless mercy. We cannot expect to be the case of causeless mercy. There's special cases. Sometimes causeless mercy is like causeless, no cause. Why Narada Muni chose them? I don't know. Causeless. But will Narada Muni certainly choose a person who is sincerely trying to engage in the service of Guru Parampara? So, also reminds me of a beautiful verse. What is the qualification? Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka kubjaya kimunam rupamadikam kintat sudamanudhanam vamsha ko vidurasya yadavapate rugrasya kim paurusham bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gunay bhakti priyo madhavaha. The Vyadha, the hunter, uska koi acharan tha? A hunter cannot have a good acharan. He's killing others. Dhruvasya cha vayo, ayu. Dhruv ki kya umr thi? Chota 5 saal ka balak, 5-year-old child. Vidya Gajendra, elephants are considered not very intelligent people. They are like, too big body, but the intelligence is not, highly. So Vidya, he was not very learned. Gajendra was not very learned. Kubja, was she very beautiful? Did she have lot of rupa? What about Sudama? Kim tat Sudama no dhanam. Sudama was a poor person. He did not even have enough to feed his own family. His clothes were torn. Everything was there was no wealth. There was no question of wealth. Vamsha ko vidurasya. Vidurka, he was the Dasi Putra. He was not from a great aristocratic family. Yadava Patir Ugrasya Kim Paurusham. Ugrasena Maharaj was practically in jail for the majority of his life. So all these qualities, these are all names of great devotees. But it is showing here that wealth does not matter, age does not matter, previous character does not matter, rupa or beauty does not matter, wealth does not matter, what kind of parentage we have, what kind of family we are born in does not matter, what kind of strength and valor we have does not matter. What matters is भक्त्या तुष्यति, भक्ति से संतुष्ट होते हैं भगवान. केवल, केवल भक्ति, केवल आनंद कांद. केवल means अन्याभिलाषिता शून्य. Kevala means unalloyed devotion. So Krishna is only, Keval can have two meanings. Krishna is only satisfied with Kevala Bhakti, or so Keval can also be connected to Kevala Bhakti, and Kevala can also be connected to Krishna is only satisfied with Bhakti. Nacha gunai, guno se nahi khush hote. Of course, you have to cultivate good qualities, but here guna means wealth, beauty, name, fame, knowledge. Those are the gunas being discussed. Bhakti tushyato, bhakti priyo madhava, bhakti priyo madhava. Krishna likes devotion, devotional service, bhakti, not wealth, not any other things. And that's why he loves his devotees. That's why he becomes the servant of his devotees. That's why he's ready to do anything for his devotees. And there are so many examples. Our own Srila Prabhupada. No, anytime he said, Nārada Ras Bihariji, they have come here, they're not going to move. They never moved. A lot of challenges, but temple was eventually made. When they incorporated ISKCON, there were only like 5-6 members. International Society for Krishna Consciousness, worldwide organization, there were 5-6 members in a no place, no money, no nothing. But see, Prabhupada pointed at KM Munshi Marg, where ISKCON Chowpatty is there. He pointed, there'll be a temple there. There was no temple, there was no nothing at that point. The ISKCON Chowpatty temple came much after Srila Prabhupada had winded up his pastime, but he just pointed. And there are so many such pastimes like that. That the devotees if they save them, then Krishna becomes their servant. Krishna becomes the servant of his devotees to manifest that. Any thoughts, comments, additions before we pause? Yes, Kashmataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I want to ask one thing. When we went for when we go to darshan to sacred temples, and there there's a lot of crowd, lot of already devotees. Sometimes it's really difficult to get the darshan. Then there people ask that if you pay some extra charges, that so-called VIP darshan, and it's because out of the greed to see the Lord from little closer, we do it. So are we doing wrong, or is okay?
Tricky question. It's kind of a personal choice, I would say. And the mood,
It's just a willingness of seeing the Lord from little close, okay. It's just that.
That's a healthy, see, the desire is good, but we have to understand what does it mean to take darshan of the Lord. When we go to one time Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was there, and he was not wearing his glasses. One disciple came and he said, Gurudev, wear glasses so you can take darshan. Right? So like I have glasses, so I can a little bit relate to it. Like I can't see properly if I don't have my glasses on. So, but darshan is not a devotee taking darshan of Lord. Darshan is basically Krishna taking darshan of devotees who all have come. So who are we to see Krishna? So these are different moods. This is like one mood. Another mood is, I'm so fun. If I don't go, who will help me? Who will, But the whole point is that there are multiple thousands of temples in India where you can barely see the deities for like 2 seconds. And even, unfortunately, a lot of people even die there because of like dhakka dhukki and, all that stuff. It happens every time it happens, So we should be a little careful, I would say. Again, giving extra money, is one's own choice but we should pray, Krishna, I have come at your door, and try to increase our devotion, try to increase our service, try to increase whenever there is chances, we can get closer. But sometime we have to see, like Lord Chaitanya actually, he was taking darshan of Jagannath from Garuda Stamba. You know that? It's quite far. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was mentioning this, that sometimes these young people in yatras are going and rushing and let me go forward, let me go forward. That's not the mood of the yatra. The mood of the yatra is to serve Vaishnavas. We let the elders go first. They can't walk properly. They have difficult time. If the tall young people will be in the front, they will have difficult time. They fall. This is more pleasing to Krishna than trying to rush and hey, let me see the darshan. Okay, this will and there's a very nice documentary also. Not documentary, kind of a drama. If you want, I can share that. What is it meant to take darshan of Lord by ISKCON Chowpatty? On Janmashtami, especially a lot of dhakkam dhukka happens, and so there may be temples. Sometimes in ISKCON temple also there is like VIP. We have to respect certain delegatories, and if the chief minister comes, of course, he'll not stand in line. So we have to give that proper respect based on their position and the social customs. But and some people say, hey, usko kyun le gaye? Right? You have to respect, to get in the society, you have to respect. I mean, the Goswamis also were doing that. So the point is, be mindful of time, place, situation. Krishna is more pleased when we serve devotees, and because sometimes one more point I was hearing about gratitude last few days. When we pay, when we feel, oh, I'm entitled, I've given 1,000 rupees, I'm entitled to have darshan of Lord. So the mood of that bhav will this is my personal opinion. I have not done that, and I highly doubt I will do that unless we are going in a bulk and everyone is doing as though. I'm not sure. I'm not saying my way is the right way. I'm just trying to follow my spiritual master's mood. I don't think he would have ever done that. He was in Tirupati. And he's a like special soul. So the pujaris came and took him to the altar. He didn't ask them. He didn't pay extra money. Where people cannot stand for like 2 seconds to take darshan, like he was like standing in the altar for 2 hours. So causeless mercy. When we pay, we feel entitled. Alright, I've given 2,000 rupees, and not even allowing me 2 seconds, right? The thought may come. I'm not saying you have this thought. I'm saying a fool like me may get this thought. अरे पैसे भी दिए फिर भी नहीं, So one has to think. I'm not saying those who are doing that is wrong. No, nothing like that. But we have to understand the mood of our Guru Parampara and do the needful.
Ji. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Well, thank you, Mata. Okay, it's a little over time, so we'll continue tomorrow. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta
Jai.
Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Jai.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Vachapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo.
Vaishnavi.
Thank you, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.